Mr. Volodymyr Groysman, Vice Prime Minister of Ukraine, head of the government special task force dealing with the MH17 crash, and Deputy Chief of Staff of the Presidential Administration of Ukraine, Mr. Hennadiy Zubko.
Доброго вечора чи доброго дня.
Good afternoon, good evening. We would like to inform you about another day of work of the Governmental Commission. I would like to mention that we continue to actively work under the supervision of the President of Ukraine, of the Prime Minister of Ukraine, in cooperation with our international partners. Today we had the meeting of the Commission of the Task Force, plus the meeting with the international experts. I would like to inform that as of now, according to the report of the Ministry of Emergency Situation, the work on searching the bodies is over. 282 bodies are found and 87 fragments of 16 bodies of people who perished there. Also, we have information about half an hour ago we were informed that all the bodies of perished are put into the special train, into refrigerator cars. I would like to mention that there are 2 trains like that, and we expect that after 7 o'clock, according to our information, this train will be allowed to go preliminary, the place that we identified together with foreign partners and the experts, to the city of Kharkiv. We keep this situation under control, we monitor it all the time, and we hope that this will take place at 7 o'clock exactly. Also, I would like to mention that, as instructed by the President of Ukraine this morning, the aircraft provided by the President of Ukraine moved to Kharkiv, international experts, and at night, from the Netherlands to Kharkiv arrived a special aircraft with special equipment to conduct expert analysis of the bodies of people. Today in Kharkiv there are 31 experts from different countries. That's a joint group which expect that the train will start moving to Kharkiv. And also I would like to inform that today we had the meeting of the task force, and you know that at the initiative of the Prime Minister of the Netherlands, also in agreement with the President and the Prime Minister of Ukraine, there was the request so that all the bodies for identification are transferred to the Netherlands, so that in the best laboratories of the world, all the important identification measures and examination is made to return the bodies of the people who perished to their motherlands, to the countries where they lived and the citizens of which they were. I also would like to mention that after the discussion at the Commission of this issue, the decision was made to give consent to such movement to the partners from the Netherlands, also with the agreement from all the countries. And today we're meeting with international experts from different countries, confirmed that they are ready for that and that they support this decision. Also, I would like to mention that the Commission made a decision to give instructions as to speeding up any document preparation so that these bodies are moved outside of Ukraine to the Netherlands according to a very brief and favorable procedure as instructed by the Commission. The deputy head of the commission, the Minister of Infrastructure, is now leaving to Kharkiv to coordinate works which will be necessary to fulfill all the tasks that I have mentioned. Also, I would like to mention that according to the legislation, international legislation, the country on the territory of which the accident took place, or the aviation accident took place, can independently conduct investigation or can transfer these functions to a different state. We, as Ukraine, we are interested in maximum openly and publicly to have the investigation conducted of this act of terrorism which took place in the sky of Ukraine. And that is why, in accordance to the legislation, we also considered the possibility, at the request of our international partners, to transfer the functions of investigation of the reasons of the fall of the aircraft to the partners from the Netherlands, together with all countries which are involved into this work. And in the first and in the second decision, it's mentioned that Ukrainian experts will directly participate in all these tasks which are to be fulfilled, as to the task as to moving the bodies and as to investigation of the crash that took place in the sky of Ukraine. We confirm again that we are interested and will do everything to maximum ensure transparency, openness, and publicity of all the results of the investigation, because the world has to know who is responsible for this aircraft being shot down, for those people who perished innocently, and they have to be responsible for that. Thank you for your attention. And together with Hennadiy Grigorievich, we will answer questions to answer your questions. Your questions, please. ABC News, please comment from the point of view of official state position. An hour ago, the State Ministry of Defense stated that, first of all, they have satellite photographs of the moment when the aircraft was downed by the Ukrainian fighter. Do you believe that's the evidence? Was such evidence given to you because you are in this task force? And the second, the statement of the Ministry of Defense of Russian Federation that this book equipment was not given to terrorists or separatists. I would like to say that, first of all, we coordinate our work, and the National Bureau on Investigation is investigating. As to what you've mentioned, then in 4 days after the accident, such statements are another confirmation that the country that has something to do with this act of terrorism is trying to do everything to hide any evidence, but Ukrainian side has enough evidence about who downed the aircraft and how, and I believe that in the nearest future we will learn about that officially. But I would like to mention 4 days until today they do not allow experts to start work. We know that all these 4 days the special services of Russian Federation were conducting certain works there related to trying to liquidate all the traces of how that was done. And also we already have information that the combatants, pro-Russian, they want to give the flight data recorders to the representatives of ICAO. That means that these recorders were in their hands and they were manipulating with them. And I believe that such statements which are dirty there's no sense to believe them. TVI TV channel. As to the black boxes, were all black boxes in the hands of terrorists, or were some of them in the hands of Ukrainian military? This is the zone that was controlled by the representatives of the Donetsk Republic, and the boxes were in their hands or in an unknown place. And now there's information that they are ready to give them to representatives of ICAO. But what Mr. Groysman said, we know that under the disguise as civilians, there were Russian experts present there. They were conducting some actions. We do not know. Our people were not allowed there, and only the emergency service representatives were looking for the bodies. And now the issue is not just about taking the bodies to Kharkiv, but also to let experts to this place of events. And now this 40 kilometers around the place of fall of the aircraft is the place where no military operations are conducted.
Clarify. You believe, the Ukrainian government, the Ukrainian authorities believe that there is a deal to transport the bodies out of the conflict zone at 7 o'clock tonight and move them to Kharkiv. The president has declared a ceasefire in that zone. We understand that Mr. Volodymyr in Donetsk has also declared a ceasefire in that zone. So please just clarify. You believe you have a deal to move the bodies at 7 o'clock.
У нас є інформація про
We do have information that the combatants will allow the train to leave with the bodies of the people who perished at 7 p.m. We expect that this will happen. Людмила Олійник. Could you please tell what is the function of the anti-terrorist organization and the government? If you have this commission, this task force, are there any clear coordinates? Or what ATO is doing, what is the government commission doing, and what are the international organizations doing there? As to the government commission, a special task force, our function is to assist the investigation. As to investigation itself, talking about technical reasons, that the National Bureau is working on that together with the partners, international partners. You know that there were several working groups created. As to investigation, the criminal case has been filed by the Security Service of Ukraine related to the act of terrorism on the territory of Ukraine, and they do their own investigatory activities. As to ATO, Hennadiy will inform you. Talking about ATO, I can tell you that the decision is made on non-conducting any military operations in 40-kilometer zone around the place where the aircraft fell. I see one hand over there. I have a question on the relatives of those who perished. Have they started arriving? We don't have any official information. I mentioned that we are ready to accommodate all these people who arrive free of charge. The families of people perished, but we do not have any information from the embassies. We have not received that. As soon as we receive it, we'll provide everything, both in the capital and, if needed, in Kharkiv. But I believe that there's no sense in that, because all the actions which are to be conducted by international experts, they should take place very quickly. They should very quickly go there, identify, and the bodies are to be quickly moved, and probably the bodies will be given to relatives in the countries where relatives and families live. The families of those who perished, they can see nothing, because the bodies and fragments of bodies, that's 282 bodies and 87 fragments. They're packed and they will be transferred. We are waiting for the technical assignment, what should be the document accompanying these bodies and the full identification in the genetical laboratory and by the families of those who perished will be taking place in the country which will be doing that. Now we received the application from the Netherlands, and the governmental commission is taking the decision about giving into the Netherlands. STB, Alexei Simakov, was there any single organized cooperation between the rescue people there and the terrorists? It's difficult for us to assess whether there was such cooperation. It's difficult to assess at a distance who exactly was on the place where the aircraft fell. We can say that those who worked there, among them there are many patriots who were doing their work in extremely difficult physically and morally and security conditions. Do I understand you correctly that you believe that you assume that Russian experts have done something with these flight data recorders? I mean only what I said. We are convinced that all these 4 days when we were limited, not allowed there, our experts and the OSCE experts were not allowed there. The special services of Russian Federation were doing something in this territory. What were they doing, at what scale? It will be possible to see only when we have access to this territory. You see that the experts are not allowed there because probably they are hiding something, and then it will be possible to assess it when the recorders are given to the services which will be examining, investigating what's inside. But again, I would like to emphasize it's very important today to ensure access to this territory to full extent for international experts with the participation of Ukrainian experts for further examination of what was happening there on that territory, including the examination and finding out what are the reasons of the fall of the aircraft. This morning, Andriy Lysenko mentioned that the relatives of some from different countries came to Kharkiv, and they even given the samples of DNA to speed up the procedure of identification of bodies. What is the correct information? I will answer. Andriy is not the member of the governmental commission, and now, before the briefing, the governmental commission was making the decision on how the bodies will be identified, taking into account the convention, the norms of the convention. The governmental commission made the decision that identification will be taking place in the Netherlands. So probably when he was making such a statement, maybe there are some relatives who arrived and they did not have the information in the same way. Now only there is this decision of the governmental commission. Now a briefing. The objective of this briefing is to inform you, to give you open, timely, and true information. For the moment, when we come to this briefing, we emphasize that we do not hide anything. We're interested in everything being public and transparent, and it is very important for us to inform the people inside Ukraine, the world community, fully give the information that we have. One more question from the British. Microphone.
About the route of the train, will it go through Donetsk to Kharkiv?
Сьогодні розглядаємо
We are looking at 4 routes. We're considering 4 routes, and I believe that for us there's no big difference which route it will go. It is important for us that it is done safely in a short period of time. It is important for us for this train to start its movement. That's the most important thing. Thank you for attention. Tomorrow we will inform you, we will give you the information that we have. We hope that we will be able to move forward in our plans, even though we do understand that every day they create new artificial obstacles for us, and we have to overcome them. Thank you for attention. Thank you.